JT, I am the Tie here, bringing you guys a narrated Wi-Fi battle today. I know a lot of you guys are always like, when are you going to post black and white Wi-Fi battle, Jason? Well, it's been a little bit of a time. My laptop couldn't screen record black and white, which is the reason why I was only doing 4th gen for a while. But, my desktop can do it now. This is screen recorded on my laptop, by the way, though. So I've condensed this down in Sony Vegas as much as I could, and it's still a really, really long video. So going to be kind of methodical, the way I like to think about it. If you're new to Wi-Fi battling, good battle to jump on into, because I'm going to be very, very detailed. But without further ado, jump right on into the action. Team preview is available in this gen. I had an ape in my lead spot, so I figured he had a Bronzong and a T-Tar. Probably doesn't want to lead off with either of those two, so I felt pretty safe leading off with Ambipom this time around. And comes the Whimsicott. I think I make a misplay right here, because quite frankly, he could have encored me in the fake out when I went for the fake out right here, which would have been really, really bad because he had priority with the Prankster. So I should have just gone double hit right there, but no harm, no foul. He switched into Bronzong. That was a misplay that didn't really cost me anything. Didn't really cost me a turn, but he goes into He went into Bronzong. Obviously, I could taunt him, except for I don't have taunt on that particular Ambipom. It's like an attacking Ambipom. So I go into my Infernape, and he sets up a Stealth Rock, which is a good play on his part. I was kind of assuming that he would set up Stealth Rock, so that's what Bronzong normally does on the first turn of the game. And obviously, I could hit him with a Choice Banded Flare Blitz for the one-hit KO, or I could go for the U-turn, predicting a switch, because I know that Bronzong walls my Ambipom to hell and back. Unfortunately, he stays in, so I could have hit him with a Flare Blitz, so that was a dope moment on my part. Obviously, I don't want to get hit by an Earthquake in case he was predicting me to over-predict, so I go into a Levitating Bronzong on my own. He sets up a Reflect. And, obviously, I think I'm going to forget about Reflect about halfway through the match. But, obviously, he got the Reflect up. I know he's a dual screener now. And there's really not a whole lot I can do against him. Not a whole lot he can do against me either. But I do have Hypnosis in my back pocket. Probably not packing a Lumberry. He's probably packing the, he's probably packing Light Clay or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the Hypnosis. He goes into Wander of the Whimsicott, which is great. Wander of the Wind for the win. And obviously, he's going to get put to sleep. That's great. At that point, I'm thinking Whimsicott's super annoying. Even though I'd like to set up my Stealth Rock right now, I'd rather kill the Whimsicott, to be completely honest, because those things are annoying as hell. So I'm going to go for the Gyro Ball. I'm completely forgetting that Reflect is up, by the way, but that does nothing. That's like a 10 or a 12 hit KO. I don't even have enough Gyro Balls to take him out at that range, so that was ridiculous. I did not realize how bulky Whimsicott was. So I'm going to set up my Stealth Rocks now. Mainly because I want to get them up, and obviously, because now I realize the Reflect was up. I'm like, I'm going to hit you for your weaker defensive stat. I'm going to go for Hidden Power Ice, and he's going to go for the Leech Seed. A good play on his part. And he wakes up on the next turn, and that really puts me in a pickle. Obviously, I can't stay in for too long, because I'm gonna go for Hidden Power Ice right here, and I'm gonna look at the damage. And obviously, I'm pretty positive that I can break the substitute right there, but that might depend on min and max damage. I don't know. I don't want to risk it, to be quite frank. That would be really, really terrible. And I know that he can potentially just sub-seed stall me to death, and then I just lose my Bronzong. And Bronzong's a really good pivot switch to guarantee that Infernape is not going to take any kind of damage from his Bronzong. So I'm going to go ahead and switch into Mr. Miyagi, my Ambipom now, and he's going to set up a substitute. And, this is a curious position in my end. Obviously, I don't want to go fake out in this scenario because I realized my mistake the moment I clicked fake out to start the match. He could have encored me into fake out, so I'm not going to go for a fake out this time around. I'm going to go straight for the double hit. Obviously, I wouldn't go fake out on a substitute anyway, but he goes for the encore, hoping that I would go fake out, which is really, really funny. And I'm just going to go ahead and go for the double hit. The first one doesn't take out the substitute, which always blows my mind hole. But, obviously, I take out the substitute on the next turn. I forget if the Reflect's going to wear off at some point, but obviously at that point, he's thinking that the Reflect's going to wear off, and then I'm going to be able to break the substitute with the first double hit, and then smack him in the face with the second double hit on the next turn. So he's going to switch. I'm going to predict a switch, because Whimsicott's super annoying, and I know he's going to want to save that, and that worked out really well for me. But he gets switched out on the Bronzong, which I mentioned before, it walled me for days. So obviously, I want to switch. It's a question of who I want to switch out into. I could switch directly into Infernape, but I'm worried about him going for Earthquake. Obviously, thinking about it after the match, I really don't think that dual screeners run Earthquake. But, he could potentially be running a weird set that only has, like, one screening move, and then also has Earthquake and Gyro Ball and different things like that. Because, it's Sharpedophile. You got always prepare for the unexpected, right? But I'm going to go into a Bronzong on my own. I don't want to risk my Infernape taking any kind of damage. I know that Infernape can do a nice number to his team if I play him well and I don't send him in haphazardly. So I'm going to go into a Bronzong. Obviously at this point, he can set up a light screen. So now I'm pretty sure that he doesn't even have Earthquake. But I'm going to go for the Hypnosis anyway, mainly because I don't feel like switching into Ape immediately. I don't want to switch him in on a Gyro Ball either, to be quite frank, because even though it's not going to take me out, it's still going to do a pretty nice chunk, because Infernape's pretty fast, and Gyro Ball, coming from a Bronzong, is pretty powerful, mainly because Bronzong is that slow. So I'm going to go over the Hypnosis, and he goes into a Seismitoad. He goes into Beast Toad 5000. God, I love the nicknames on all these guys, but I'm going to go for the Hypnosis. I'm going to miss again, because I swear to God, the thing has like 33% accuracy when I use it. but 60% accuracy reported on Cerebi and everywhere else. So obviously at this point, I really don't have anything better to do. I was debating about what the hell Seismitoad can actually do to me at full health, and I decided nothing. He could hit me with a Hidden Power Fire, not going to be doing too much. Hydro Pump would be the strongest move that he could go for. He could hit me with a Spect Hydro Pump, but you know, I'm not too worried about Seismitoad at all. I'm pretty sure I can tank a hit because it's a freaking Bronzong. I'm going to go for the Hypnosis, finally put him to sleep. And, you know, and obviously he's got a guaranteed turn to sleep now, so I figure I might as well go into Tangrowth on the free switch. I set up my Sunny Day and then hit him with a Solar Beam. Obviously he might be assuming Power Whip or something along those lines. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch out into my Tangrowth, but he double switched. He goes out into Whimsicott, which is a great play on his part because, you know, he was anticipating me to stay in with the Bronzong. But obviously at this point, I can't set up my Sunny Day because he has priority Encore with the Prankster ability. So I'm going to go for the Hidden Power Fire immediately. It turns out he had a move to hit the Tangrowth the entire time to handle the bulky Grass type to try to come in and prevent his sub-seeding strategy, which is a good play on his part. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the Hidden Power Ice, or not Hidden Power Ice, Hidden Power Fire. And because this Life Orb is going to be able to take him out regardless of the Light Screen being in the air, which is great. You know, obviously at this point, I got the Toxic on the Tangrowth, but it's not a defensive Tangrowth, it's an offensive Tangrowth, which is probably pretty unexpected. But he can go into iamthetie, he can go into a Typhlosion, which is really, really funny. And obviously at this point, I really can't stay in because I don't want to get hit by a Fire Blast, to be obvious. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my Gastrodon, because, you know, Fire Blast, going into a water type, seems like the smart play to go for it. He goes for the Fire Blast. Looking at the damage, not going to be a 2-hit KO. I think it's going to hit me down to, what, like 250 or something like that? Or 220. It actually did a lot more than I was expecting. So, you know, that's pretty unexpected. He's probably spec'd thinking about it after the match. But obviously at this point, not a 2-hit KO, so he has to switch. I figure he's probably going to switch. I could go Recover or go Toxic. I figure I'd go Toxic because in case he switched into anyone else besides the Bronzong, because Bronzong could potentially get burned by my Gastrodon, and then I can stall him out with my Bronzong. And basically, he wouldn't be able to do any damage to me, and then I just wait out the storm, which is the way I was thinking about it. But he switched into his Bronzong as I went Toxic, so I'm going to go ahead and hit him with a Scald. If I burn him, and then my Bronzong can beat him one-on-one, I can win that way. You know, obviously, that's the strategy that I'm playing at that point. But he can set up a Reflect at that point. And I believe he could potentially set up a Light Screen in this scenario, but obviously if he gets the burn, then the Bronzong really isn't useful to him anymore, and I think he realizes that. So he's going to go ahead and switch out now. I believe he's going to go into Beast Toad 5000 again. You know, and obviously, and sitting at this point, I was like, crap, does that thing actually have Water Absorb? I thought that was unreleased, but I go for the Scald, and it actually does damage, so obviously, I guess it wasn't released at the point of this battle. I don't know if it's released at that point. I haven't up to now, because I haven't really checked, but obviously, I get a critical hit right here, and that really sucks for him, because obviously, it's not too bad. I don't think he's going to play that big of a role, though, because obviously, I'm fearing a Grass Knot. It didn't one-hit KO him regardless. I don't think a next Scald will kill him, and because the Sleep turn did reset, I know that I have a free switch into Tangrowth on this turn, and if I can get at least 2 turns of Sleep, which is normally what I'm banking on when I go for the Sleep, I can set up my Sunny Day, hit him with a Solar Beam. You know, obviously, I believe that most people who run an offensive Tangrowth, they would be running a running Power Whip on the guy, which is a good play. I think Solar Beam was for the lulz because this is the 4th gen Tangrowth. But obviously at this point, I'm going to set up my Sunny Day. He's going to sleep for another turn. He could have potentially hit me with an Ice Beam, which would have been really, really bad. But at the same time, once I get the Sun up, that means that Infernape can come in and basically Flare Blitz everything, aside from Tyranitar on his team left. So at the same time, I wasn't too worried. But he's going to go ahead and go into... I believe at this point he's pretty screwed. Obviously, Seismitoad, he's going to leave Seismitoad in his fodder in case I overpredict, but I saw no reason in overpredicting. It just crossed my mind what would be a really, really good strategy right here, because I know he has a Bronzong and he has a T-Tar. If he goes into Tyranitar expecting the Solar Beam, he can stop the Sun from going up. Obviously, I'd be on a charge turn, and then switch into Bronzong on the predicted Solar Beam. And then not only did he take out my Sun, but then he wasted my turns and stalled me out for toxic damage, which would have been absolutely brilliant. So that's just something I want to share with you guys. But he can go into 6-foot Haxorus, because Leo for the win. Oh god, I love these nicknames. But he goes into Haxorus, and obviously kind of worried that thing could be Scarfed. But I'm going to take the gamble, because quite frankly, Tangrowth's going to die on the next turn to toxic damage anyway. Hit him with a Solar Beam. Honestly, I think he probably should have gone out into T-Tar in that scenario, but he went into Haxorus, and I'm not going to complain about that. I'm going to hit that Haxorus for really, really nice damage, because Life Orb Solar Beam does a ton of damage. And he's going to go for the DD. Obviously, now he's basically Scarfed with the ability to switch moves, and that sucks. But at this point, you know, toxic damage is going to take out my Tangrowth. But it gives me two options. Obviously, I can go into Infernape and go for the Mach Punch for the KO, but then I basically give Tyranitar a safe switch. I don't know what type of Tyranitar set he's running, so I'm going to go into Ambipom, because I can hit him with a Fake Out for a good damage, and at this point, he could potentially try to save the Haxorus, but at the same time, he's kind of worried about me going for Pursuit, so he stays in. I go Fake Out, which is the mind game that I wanted to play from before. Obviously, down with the Haxorus, and he's going to go back into his Bronzong. And now, obviously, at this point, I figure I might as well go ahead, switch out, go into my, I think I'm going to go ahead and switch out and go into my Gastrodon, because I figure it's the safest play that I could possibly do, get the burn on him, just stall out the Storm, really, and then I can heal up the full HP as well. But, he switches out, he goes into Tyraniboa on the double switch. Tyranoa, I should say, because no JNP. I'm going to put links to, like, all these really cool Wi-Fi battlers in the description below that he's nicknamed, because I think that's really, really awesome. But obviously, at this point, Sandstorm's kicking. But you know, I know that Swampert's a really, really good matchup to T-Tar, and Gastrodon's not really a Swampert, but the type advantage is still there, you know what I mean? So, he gets set up a substitute, and obviously I guess he was predicting me to go into Ape, and then run away, being worried that it might be a Scarftar or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the Scald. Obviously that double switch just didn't work out in his favor. He can set up a substitute, maybe hoping that the substitute can take a Scald, but it can't. So obviously it forces him to attack me now. He's going to go for the Dark Pulse. Looking at the damage, I think kicking in Eternal Lefties, I did see the Life Orb recoil on him, by the way, but I'm going to hit him with another Scald, and I know this is doing quite a bit of damage, but factoring in a leftover recovery on this turn, I'm pretty positive, I'm like 95% positive that I can take another Dark Pulse and then go for the recover on this next turn, which puts me in a really, really nice position. Obviously that means that if the Tyranitar, or if that Typhlosion does not have a super effective move, then he can't kill me, which means that he has to lock himself into like the Hidden Power Grass or whatever the heck he has. So I mean that's a great position to be in. He goes for the Dark Pulse. I live with 3 HP to get off my recover, but I get the flinch, and I was like, oh. So obviously that means that Gastrodon can be revenge KO'd by Typhlosion, obviously. So he can go into I Am the Typhlosion. And freaking A, God, I love these nicknames. And he's going to go ahead and go for the, I'm worried about him going for Fire Blast or Extra Sensory or whatever other move, whatever 100% accuracy move he could potentially use. So I didn't want to switch into anyone, leave Gastrodon in his fodder, seemed like the safest play in my mind. I can go into Mr. Miyagi now. Obviously, I'm assuming he's going to be scared of the Fake Out, so I'm going to go for the Pursuit, predicting a switch, because I did go for the Fake Out last time, but he makes a smart play. He stays in. Obviously, I'm able to outspeed him, so I know he's not running a Scarf Typhlosion, which means that my Infernape can revenge KO him regardless. I can lock myself into Flare Blitz at this point, which is great. But obviously, at this point, I believe that he's going to he's not going to die to the Sandstorm, so I can go into my Infernape. I know that he got a Bronzong, and he has a Typhlosion left. I know that I outspeed the Typhlosion that's sitting out there right now, so I'm going to go straight for the Flare Blitz, and the Flare Blitz will also one-hit KO the Bronzong, and that is going to be the game, guys. But obviously, that's a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed all the nicknames. I sure as hell did. Definitely feel free to click the like button if you enjoyed that video. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but you know, it's because I know exactly what's going on in the battle. Really, this is probably my second Wi-Fi battle. I had a third one against Wanderer of the Wind yesterday, and I think he pretty much dominated me. I think I made a really, really key misplay because he had 3 guys weak to Stealth Rocks, and I didn't set up Stealth Rocks when I had the opportunity, which came back, and it was like, for the first time in a really, really long time, I sat there and I said, I really, really want to play 5th gen. So obviously, I have to thank Wanderer of the Wind, by the way, if he's watching this video, for kind of like kindling like a fire in me. I all of a sudden, like, I kind of want to play 5th gen, but I gotta gen up some guys to be completely honest. Use the database that Weil and Tony Flagon and everyone created, because they're awesome, and that's a good way to get started. So I think I might get into 5th gen pretty soon. I mean, my computer can actually do it now. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Obviously, I'm kind of rambling at this point, but I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys are new to Wi-Fi battling, you know, if you've been watching the Let's Plays, I hope that was really informative for you guys. And that's going to be it for today. I'll catch you all another time. Bye.